8 kingdoms, but only one may rule. It's an honor to have you here with me to witness 8 kingdoms fighting for total domination of these beautiful lands. The rules are simple for these rulers. Be the last one standing, everything goes, for everyone can be a friend or foe, but even friends can be foes in this place of woe. Who shall go toe-to-toe? First, though, let's slay the rhyming, get that out of the way, and take a look at this randomly generated map. Mother Nature is not fair in 8 kingdoms. Each commander starts off with 3 villagers all over the map, and they must find a place to settle, a homestead from which to grow into a bustling village, a vibrant town, a ludicrous city, and maybe even a citadel. A sacred site deep in the south, whilst the other 2 are in the central position. There's lots of water today, and near the largest body of it, our first commander's coat of arms are royal purple, just like the wine their French villagers will drink in celebration. Their grand champion is, of course, Vortix, and I'm a big fan. With Vortix on the field, you know you're about to see some strong opponents. The French don't request Vortix's command personally to take on minor opponents, and close by is the camouflaged nation of the Delhi Sultanate. And there are many Delhi Sultanate civilizations today. This sect is disciplined by none other than MarineLord. They'll be scouting the map like a lemon, probably delighted to see a pond next to them with fish. They've got deer, gold, stone, berries, and their town center is covered in trees. That's the good stuff. But they might have to share this corner of the map with Vortix. This small pond here is connected to a big lake which you can boat between, so it seems. One villager has already built a dock here, but we'll introduce their founding father in a bit. We just want to take a look at the lake, which will surely provide a bountiful amount of early game food for whoever controls it. And Vortix being French, and next to this lake, those hulks are still somewhat strong. Though this isn't Baldur's Bay, those days are over. In the far west of Westeros, there's a well-loved bandit who steals for the poor and kills for the rich. They've killed so many their clothes are stained red. The origin of this story belongs to Simtom. Nice corner, great for a wander if you wanted to plonk one down there. Nearby, though, is another Delhi Sultanate. Their lands don't look as enriching, but they aren't deprived. Don Artey is the name, and orange is their fame, yet to discover their neighbor. So, we've got northern corner housing 2 commanders, western corner with another 2 as well. There could be some big early game wars if history is to go by. Or maybe people have learned from history. Let's not mistake early aggression for diplomatic suicide. You make enemies in 8 kingdoms, you make enemies in for life. I like this cliff. What a fantastic view of the end of the world. This is not a mountainy map though, it's relatively flat. That's going to be good news for this next civilization. Pulling carts around will be easy for the nomadic Mongols. With wheels of steel, they are instructed by a sellsword known as Matiz. They've found stone for their uvu. Now, I want to talk about the Mongols quite a bit, but we'll have to save all that kind of civilization discussions when we've got time. We have to do the introductions. Congratulations on the new card. I guess the last one didn't make the cut. They are heading over to make a discovery. The French have brought in a rival, and that rival is French. They are as pink as one puppy's paw. It's Puppy Paw. That's Prince Puppy Paw to the peasants. They are settled in the hilly forests, certainly less resources in the south side of this map, and our commanders are closer together. Just take a look. Things are quite spaced out. So perhaps the first war might be in the south. Plenty of wood, though, as we travel to the governor seeking a status upgrade. We're going to need some blues clues, as it's the first time I'm witnessing their capabilities. Who is here? It's CrackedyHere with a double gold start. It's a fairly... Uh-oh. Well, I was going to say it's a nice location resource-wise, but geopolitically... well, that brings us to our 8th kingdom. This one is mean and green. It's DinkyKing of the Chinese. The Barbican of the Sun will deny both plots of gold. Absolutely ruthless. Ruthless, I say. DinkyKing is fortunate that they have no commanders to the east of them. They are technically on the edge. No one can take advantage of them. So no fighting, a war on two fronts, very important. The villagers are going to have a happy time getting those berries. Whilst an army of sheep. Look out, Crackedy! The sheep! It could very well be a checkmate move there. DinkyKing has lots of food, wood, and over here they've got a tiny circle village of gold. It's the village for dwarves. Oh, yes! As a side note, I'd love to cast a game with that scaled buildings mod. If you're down to deliver a good game with that mod on, do get in touch. MarineLords making fish fingers. They are the first Delhi Sultanate commander we introduced. There are full sultanates, though, so by simple mathematics... Let me get my abacus out. That's a 50% chance there will be a Delhi Sultanate victory. Why are Delhi Sultanates so popular? There's a lot of super late game power potential to harness with all of their technology, but elephants, yes, it's the elephants of all things that reign supreme. They are hard to take down. Besides elephants, though, there are a few other things of use, one of which is getting food based on how many technologies have been researched, which works out, I think, at around 600 food a minute. It's not massive, but it's not worth mentioning. Technologies do take a long time to research, but we might have plenty of time to kill because no doubt all of our sultanates will want to spend as much time as possible just building up, storing resources, gathering relics. Relics will be hugely desirable. If we can hoard a load of relics, there's a lot of gold to be had. And there's sacred sites too, which might be in contestation between the sultans. We shall see. One way you can speed up research, obviously, is to build multiple of the same building. You can research 5 things at a time with 5 blacksmiths, and of course, those technologies don't cost a penny. That's a Delhi discount for you. Don Artey is on their way with a scout to discover the middle of the map. Highly rich in resources, but with the lay of the land, this middle section is almost like a funnel and would be smack bang in the middle of every player in this realm. Is it good fortune that no one started there? Or is it that every commander here is wise enough to avoid such treacherous beginnings by settling in such a location? Now, CrackedyHere is starting to move in the opposite direction of DinkyKing. They want stone for a new town center, but much better to gather stone further out than close and possibly in DinkyKing's vision. Just in case DinkyKing would try to stop that stone gathering. Poppy Paw is considering what territory is theirs. They begin marking the boundaries with a palisade wall, planting a flag in the mineral deposit so that Matiz knows who it belongs to. And Matiz does see who it belongs to. The scout will report their findings and, well, we'll see if they accept those terms. Checking back in with DinkyKing, we've got a barracks and archery range. Ooh, it's that really difficult to pronounce unit. The Jugunu. When I have to remind myself of how to pronounce it, I think of trains, but some people refer to it as the Zugnu. Now, this piece of equipment is good at killing villagers. Getting some villager kills this early on is a deadly sentence. One might have to ask, what is DinkyKing really gaining from this attack so early? A bit of land, some gold, a sense of pride and accomplishment. Now here's an interesting spot for a coastal market. Perhaps worth placing some outposts there and guaranteeing yourself some mid-game trade. DinkyKing has found gold mining going on. And CrackedyHere is now Crackedy going over there. But where will these villagers go to? Where will they be safe from the terrors of DinkyKing? The lands here are sacred. They should not be settled unless you wish to incur the wrath of every commander sultan and that one Mongol. Ooh, the French are squabbling. Puppy had a bunch of baby boats here, but Vortix chose a ship of the line. Puppy's fishing days will soon be over. Not sure how Don Artey's villager ended up here. I suppose they could have got their colors mixed up. The orange vestments do look similar. There is a mill back here for Don Artey. Interestingly, such a good place for a wander. You've got like a moat, a small moat around there almost. Simtom and Don Artey, they seem happy with each other for now. The blue party of 4 still in search for a holy grail. They've passed 4 by now. Ooh, Puppy Paw got a Hulk too. Maybe they'll retain control of this lake after all. They are both shooting each other's docks. That will take a little time, but it can be done. Puppy still has that other dock though. That's absolutely fine. Puppy Paw has settled very far away from this location, and that's going to be a revelation for Vortix. What do you mean my enemy isn't even near me? They're on the other side of the map. Vortix has a marketplace in place, a building that cannot be lived without in 8 Kingdoms. It's such a necessary component. DinkyKing is escalating. We're going to the siege of Crackedy. A battering ram will be particularly impactful because Crackedy doesn't have a military to oppose this. Once that tower is smashed, and then the town center, DinkyKing can move in for the slaughter. Crackedy does have the option to evacuate or maybe send some villagers to save the day. They already tried that, but it was a tough call. They opted not to sacrifice their lives. Of course, even if the villagers did destroy one battering ram, there'd be a second one. And DinkyKing is paying attention. As soon as they go for the ram, the Chuganu are waiting to pounce like a mammal that bounces. Whilst this goes on, in other news, Simtom is on a grand quest for relics. They've sent out a wave of missionaries to spread the word of the red Simtom and take anything that's not nailed down. Crackedy could try praying to Simtom since a blue settlement is starting to appear outside their red wall. We could already have some vassalage maybe. Will CrackedyHere enter the servitude of the legendary bandit leader, Simtom? Puppy Paw has 3 hulks, one of which has been wounded. It's crossing Simtom's couple of docks and will be near their fishing grounds soon enough. Back to DinkyKing's assault. The plan is going excellently, as you can see. 3 battering rams will make light work of a town center. Fortunately for CrackedyHere, hulks cannot see far enough to shoot at their berry pickers. And I wonder where DinkyKing is going to go after this. Will they be on the hunt? Vortix is sailing a 5-ship armada down. Puppy Paw needs to be alert. Another Hulk joins the mix. Vortix is really going to go and claim this lake. There's nothing in that lake that can withstand what Vortix has right now. It's theirs for the taking, as is this Dome of Faith. DinkyKing clearly wants to eliminate them now. Just get it over with. Is it entirely necessary to produce even more battering rams? Is DinkyKing thinking they've got enough momentum here to perhaps steamroll another settlement afterwards? It's a huge wood investment, and I imagine quite a few folk will be in the Castle Age by that time. The Castle Age typically is a priority, but there's at least, in these 8 Kingdom matches, at least one loose cannon. Oh, and there is an audience! It's the Mongol Matiz! They clearly do not want to engage this. Just leave it be. No need to be the Good Samaritan here. I do want to talk about the Mongols. But before I do, something I should have done at the start, I want to invite you to the Ironcast Discord. If you would be interested in more Age of Empires 4 content, then I could probably use your help. As you probably already know, these videos are not monetized and they're in 4K if you're not watching in high definition already. Who needs money when I can live perfectly fine off Age of Empires content? But finding games to cover or putting matches together to deliver that content, that's where you could come in. Simtom clashing with DinkyKing's forces. They see all the battering rams. That could be slightly concerning. Anyway, if you'd like to start in your own cast or help out in some way, why not pop in and send a message? That link to the Discord is discord.me/Ironcast. Maybe we could even work together. Oh, I don't know. I'm a tough person to work with. Likewise, if you are interested in doing your own stuff and need a little help, then talk is cheap. I can offer advice and share my experiences with audio and editing. I like to help where I can because when one person grows, we all grow, and I'd love to have more stuff to watch myself. Now, I'm not a lucky person. As of the last 6 months, there's been some medical stuff to deal with. I don't want to go into too much detail on that one. Then there was some computer catastrophes, which I'll go into plenty of detail about. But that's boring. And at the moment, outside is covered in smoke because there's a load of forest fires in Portugal. Lots of things have been slowing down content production, but maybe, just maybe, I'd be lucky if I can get the chance to meet you. So that link again is discord.me/Ironcast. Right, the Mongols! I'm excited! The Mongols have not had much coverage, and I'd love to see a late game Mongol. You gotta think that late game is where the players are struggling with resource, and the Mongols have some good answers here. You need gold? Go raid! Destroy buildings and get 75 gold. Gold is the thing that's kind of tough to get. You can buy lots of stuff with gold. The only thing you can't buy, CrackedyHere, if you're listening, is your way out of this one. 5 battering rams will destroy the last bastion of hope that CrackedyHere has. And the villagers, they'll do what they can. But they're getting shot right in the back. The castle is going down in flames. Anyway, back to the Mongols. There's also the Silver Tree, which grants more resources from trading. If you can squeeze out traders and extort them for tax money, you've got 2 additional sources of gold right there. That's huge. Then they've got all kinds of extra bonuses from their Uvu upgrades. Usually in a 1v1, you won't see those upgrades because it just costs so much stone. And in a 20, maybe 30-minute game, well, nobody is playing 1v1s expecting an hour-long match, so even if you got to 60 minutes into a 1v1 on Mongols, you've probably been lying to yourself, saying, I'm not going to get this upgrade. If I just double produce some more soldiers, I can win. Or perhaps you're on the defensive and you really need those soldiers. Simtom, are they trying a rescue operation? No, they're helping. Just burn it down and then please leave. If I help you get rid of CrackedyHere, will you go? Well, we already have our 8th kingdom eliminated. CrackedyHere, thank you for joining. I hope next time you will be far away from DinkyKing. They're so mean. Oh, we do have the silver tree out. I like your style, Matiz. The steps redoubt is also here. Another additional source of gold. I almost forgot that one. Thanks for sharing that with us. With food possible to get in unlimited amounts and an easy way to fill the coffers full of gold, the Mongols can field strong units late on. Don Artey already stacking their defenses. Puppypaw has built a training facility in the middle of the map and is mining gold here. DinkyKing just casually strolls through it. The French influence bonus, of course, allows them to get ranged units and units out of the stables for a little bit cheaper. Now, every commander is going to want to protect their assets with castles and create a minimal barrier of entry. If you don't have siege machines, then don't come knocking. Marine, Sultan, and all of the other sultans are desperately etching away, trying to scribe the next great piece of technology. Vortix is working on many, many stables. I mean, they could just consolidate all of these into one large stable and make one very large horseman. Such a monstrosity could work better. Vortix is also reaching further south. Interesting that both French commanders have extended their base the greatest distance, both placing high value on the resources in the middle, and kind of rightfully so. I feel gold is very important in general, but France probably wants gold the most for spamming Royal Knights or Arbaletiers. I wonder if Puppypaw is getting crossbows, anticipating armored units from Vortix. Anyway, DinkyKing's rage has subsided, which is great news for the world. Now experiencing its greatest peacetime since the Dark Ages. You remember how peaceful the Dark Ages were? Where the main enemy was rats? Big shout out to anyone who adopts rats, by the way. They are very sweet pets. Matiz has a small army, and Simtom's cavalry is out exploring, though it seems to be unsure as to which direction to move in. Some arguments in the regiment. Has to be a unanimous agreement. Oh, battering ram versus Hulk. I think the ram is stuck on the berries? Yeah, that's right. Sulk away. You don't have the guts. Literally. Simtom's cavalry has got direction now. Oh, those blasted workers from CrackedyHere still mining that gold. The thieving sods. Now, Simtom's mosque is being pelted with arrows from Puppypaw's castle. I don't think Simtom will like that. But what are you gonna do about it? His cavalry lacks support of a mechanical nature. Maybe they can borrow a battering ram from DinkyKing, and I'm sure DinkyKing would accept such an offer. Puppypaw is in the way of DinkyKing too. They are both to the north and west of DinkyKing settlement. And MarineLord, if you check the map, has been extending to soon be on their east. We're almost 25 minutes in, and all our commanders thus far have been operating with neutrality, but I believe this era is soon to be eradicated as greed for resources kicks in. MarineLord is propping up barracks and workshops ever so close to DinkyKing, and has MarineLord allied with Vortix, is yellow with purple. What about Simtom and Artey, red and orange? And what about Matiz and Puppypaw, teal and pink? Would DinkyKing then be the only person without an ally because they eliminated CrackedyHere? That would be a savage turn of events. And DinkyKing is apparently very savage. They got rid of their crossbows. They eliminate All of their potential friends. What will replace the Jugganoos? Siege should be on everybody's mind. There's so many castles now. But I think everyone is trying to stockpile resources until the very last minute, especially those Delhi Sultanates. Something is going to give soon, though. I know it. I feel it. Simtom's making a villager expedition. Where are they going? Matiz has also started trading. Never too early to start trading in a free-for-all. Plucking resources out of thin air is good stuff. And oh, whilst those villagers make a run to Matiz's settlement for whatever reason, DinkyKing is under attack. MarineLord of Yellow trying to put a tower down next to their mining facility just to get some vision, I suppose. And DinkyKing responds by dropping the schematics for a stone wall, and elephants are on their way. Those red villagers of Simtom, it feels like they're being given free passage. Now, we've seen this before. Building a landmark in someone else's town almost feels like an offering of peace. But it does give a strategical advantage. It creates a contingency plan where it's impossible to be fully eliminated unless you kill two kingdoms. Is that... I mean... Matiz is moving their buildings out of the way, and there is a landmark going down. I think that is happening. Does Simtom have a three-way alliance? One with Artey and one with Matiz. Now, I don't know if Matiz has an alliance with Artey or Puppy Paw for that matter. They're two neighbors. But I'm just curious to see if Simtom might actually just try to ally with as many people as possible without them knowing. That could be an interesting strategy. You know, it certainly beats, oh, I don't know, just going through someone's base with a load of elephants and destroying everything in sight. Speaking of which, for some people, the only kind of diplomacy is negotiation by force. I offer you 2 cannon loads of destruction, and in return, I want you to surrender. Vortix is also moving on the opposite side of the map against Simtom. Vortix and MarineLord are definitely allies. Lots of Royal Knights, wondering if they can get a quick rush against landmarks, a bloodless elimination. However, Simtom's recent move ensures their survival unless Matiz is also attacked. Something which I don't think Vortix or MarineLord are going to do, because they're going to have to move through other commanders' territory to do so. DinkyKing flinging spears into the elephants. Simtom recalling their cavalry back to defend the homeland. Now, Simtom will probably be fine, but the skies grow darker for the Dinky Kingdom. Simtom has a holy priest. Do they know any other spells besides conversion? They did grab a couple there. Honestly, I think a shadow priest would have been more warranted. Vortix's knights are trapped within a stone boundary formation. It's a legendary sealing technique. I like it. They've got no option but to fight now. Some might be able to find an exit. Back over to MarineLord's attack on DinkyKing. The settlement almost feels abandoned. It's very nearly a ghost town. There should be far more villagers around. The ones that have stayed gathering rice under crossbow fire. Ah, there's a load of woodworkers here, actually. I guess the villagers are just looking for any kind of work, any job that they can take to pay off those student loans. Vortix, on the other hand, is being chased down by Simtom. They're now riding along the edges in search of some kind of safe passage. We'll see if they can find one. Meanwhile, DinkyKing has scrambled for hand cannons. That's the tool for the job. They just need more of them. Against spearmen. They probably want to be staggering or scattering those shots. 8 hand cannons all firing into a single spearman. Slight overkill, basically making them explode. The battering rams are approaching the castle. The elephants en route. This is where Dinky makes their stand as king. Vortix has breached Simtom's perimeter and is now finding themselves in the kingdom of Don Artey. They don't seem to mind. Life continues as normal. Vortix just wants to save lives, and Don Artey isn't about to start a war just to kill a bunch of folk who just want to live. Vortix is getting some map info from this at least. Freedom is nearby. Surely they can see it from the hills. Now the first castle is crumbling, DinkyKing trying to repair. And in the background, Puppy Paw has traders riding gleefully through. Bit of rubbernecking. Oh, what's going on here then? The west countryside of France, of course. Yup, le château c'est fondru. Better scarper, pardon, excusez-moi. I don't want to get mixed up in that. Just here to trade, I am. I want no trouble. Yes, my accents are bad. Fun fact, I did a lot of moving around as a kid, which sounds dodgy, but it's not. I never got a strong regional accent to the point where some people, weirdly, actually think I'm American. I don't know how that happened. MarineLord seems fairly done with DinkyKing, but DinkyKing is not done. They've not surrendered. They still have hope somewhere. Vortex passing through Camp Matiz of the Mongols. Do they know where Simtom's secretly built? They're attacking a newly formed town center. The guard is alerted and respond. Matiz also has hand cannons in the mix and will chase away Vortix's royal knights. Get out of here! Like pesky flies. DinkyKing has started building in the very eastern corner, outside of their own stone wall. Although walls do work both ways. They've scored themselves a relic as well. Nice. So, as expected, things have kicked off. 30 minutes into the story, will Matiz venture out and attack? Will DinkyKing ever truly be defeated? Has MarineLord declared war on Matiz by slaughtering all these traders? Nice tally of resources from these traders, by the way. 135 gold and a bit of everything else. Although nothing. They don't get there. This poor trader turned at the last moment. I was like, no, thank you. I don't want none of this. Please. Oh, lordy lord, no. News just in. Vortix has another gathering that look ready to rumble for a second round. Now, I don't think the first attempt went so well as to say, well, if I do it again, I'll probably come out much better off. Oh, destroying those other transport ships. I guess we only need one to make the journey across and back again. Okay, we're gonna scrap that plan. We've revised it. It's not gonna work. We'll just go the long way round. As MarineLord continues to rampage like an out-of-control Jumanji, Simtom might be passing by Don Artey's mighty army. It's fantastic and Mr. Bombastic. Why is DinkyKing's villagers here? This is way worse than where they were. I'll take my chances with MarineLord's patrols. Anyway, this animalistic crusade is not pointed towards Simtom. Who is it directed at? Matiz is over here. They are moving their steps right out over to a new source of gold to plunder. Will it be in the way of Don Artey? It might. The scholars screaming, get out of the way! Oh, that's a lot of scholars mixed in there. I guess from all of the research, there's been scholars to spare. Moving towards the center of the map. Is Puppy Paw in danger? Well, it's only a couple of castles and a training facility. It's not their main base, so they can lose it. I wonder where Don Artey would go from here, though. I guess if they continue on this trajectory, they'd get to MarineLord, or maybe they'll move north to Vortix. Speaking of Vortix, they've traveled to the deep south. They're not here to liberate DinkyKing. They're here with the oppressors. It's a game of hide and seek, and DinkyKing is tucked away in that eastern corner. It would be very unfair if Don Artey also joined in the hunt. God, this place is such a wreck. MarineLord has just resorted to destroying every building, either out of confusion or boredom. And some of the soldiers have got bored. They're just going to return home. But here is DinkyKing. Now, something to think about, though. If this was Matiz that was raiding DinkyKing, how much Mongol raid gold would have been pillaged? Oh my god, Don Artey is coming down here. Why? You also get food from setting buildings on fire as the Mongols, but really it's the gold that you want. Any bits of jewelry, nice looking furniture, small things that you can post on Etsy. Or, you know, maybe that leftover bit of sausage. Take that back too, why not? As far as I can tell, though, DinkyKing was living in such a utopia that their trash is treasure to the likes of MarineLord, Vortix, and Don Artey. It's worth sifting through every inch and scouring whatever remains. There's no low where they wouldn't go for a bit of DinkyKing. Make him sound like a drug. Hey kid, want to do some DinkyKing? Or a grandpa who thinks every gaming console is a Nintendo. Now, DinkyKing, interestingly, has built inside Puppy Paw's base, and I think Vortix has just found this handy bit of information out. Does this mean Puppy Paw is in trouble with the law for harboring a fugitive? Puppy Paw would definitely like to have kept this information secret, but here's where it might get complicated. If, and it's a very big if, Puppy Paw and Matiz are allied, would attacking Puppy Paw mean war with Matiz? And Matiz is allied with Simtom, and Don Artey is at least non-hostile towards Simtom and Matiz. This has truly turned into Game of Thrones. MarineLord has discovered the rest of DinkyKing in their Dinky Nation, just building some outposts around. Oh my god, it's getting quite smoky outside, and there's another plane carrying a plane load of water to drop on this forest fire outside. Apologize if this is picked up on the microphone, but I don't think it will be. This is a trusty microphone. It's been in the family for generations. Not my family, I don't have a family, but if I just open up the curtains. Yep. The fire's still there. And I think I've got about an hour left, but we'll play this by ear. Don Artey. Are they moving to the right? Yes, they are. All the villagers have been lured here. By the tower. Straight into the elephant fire. That's one way to bait villagers. Is this how DinkyKing is buried? In some ways, this is impressive. If it takes 3 entire armies to finally kill you, you've got to be a god. Or if you're this hard to kill, maybe a parasite or a virus. 4 town centers in close proximity. This is a wall of town centers, and all of the bombards just together one-shot it out of the way. Vortix is attacking Matiz. The steps redoubt could be in danger here. We'll see how that turns out as Don Artey collapses DinkyKing's second remains. And the villagers have curiously moved west. The astronomical clock tower is gone. Bye-bye. The scholars have scored themselves a relic. They're bringing along for the ride. Maybe they'll get some conversions. Where to next, I wonder? Here's those villagers. Why won't you die? They must see DinkyKing as insidious at this point. They cannot be allowed to grow. Not to the point that they were. Think of how much hatred they could tap into. Now it's getting interesting. Don Artey is heading north. This puts them in MarineLord's territory. How will they respond to that? And Vortix is near the Uvu of Matiz. They are prepared to sacrifice as many lives as it takes to defend it, so it appears. Vortix, though, has an MO. And it's not straight up fighting. They got the horses to stampede around and get to their intended target for precision strikes. Not straight up warfare. And there's so much movement on the map at the moment. It's getting tense. Don Artey is just strolling through. It might be a rather butch scouting mission with all those elephants. It could be that. Vortix acting like liquid as they crash through Don Artey's castle towards Matiz. And I think they want to get around, but Matiz has spotted their moves. Excellent tactical abilities displayed by Matiz. Vortix will ride away. It's the logical thing to do, but even so, it still looks cowardly. Victory goes to Matiz, I suppose. And on the other side of the world, scholars have been healing their elephants as they careen through. Who needs food when you have faith? Puppy Paw is under attack. Vortix just driving by with a royal cannon, very casually. Matiz lingering outside. I'm wondering if they're posturing. I'm definitely scared for Puppy Paw here. The Simtoms brought a tiny party to the middle of the map, a tiny group with lofty ambitions. They've got a couple of bombards to blow the bloody doors off the keep, keeping that fire lit. Episode 2, the Simtom strikes back. The two big armies of Don Artey and MarineLord. Very close by, I think. The engagement begins. It begins. Don Artey, it begins. Start. Don Artey. Start the combat. Start the fight. Now is not the time to become a pacifist. Those bombards could bazooka those elephants to bits. MarineLord's cavalry swift enough to burn some of the wheels of the bombards, and Vortix entering a scuffle with Simtom, just wrecking the bombards, and then rushing back. Watching MarineLord and Don Artey, though, is like watching a high-speed chase in super slow motion. And the police car is ramming the getaway vehicle into the crash barrier. And they're just going along the edge with sparks flying. Just what exactly are they planning to do? Matiz is mobilizing, not against Puppy Paw. They journey to the north. I like saying that. And in the north, in the lake, there are carracks. Simtom has ordered 3 carracks and will subsequently become the dominator of this reservoir. And it will hurt Vortix even more because some of their structures are close to shore. Carracks can definitely provide a lot of fire support here. Ooh, is Don Artey making a stand on the hill? Has it been enough now? And the scholars are taking the brunt of it. Oh, Christ on a Barbie! The scholars are getting entire holes punched through their midsections, if not from a cannon, then from a tusk. Don Artey has given up on that one. Imagine being on the crime scene for that. Yeah, he's got a perfect circle cut out of their chest, piece of ivory mounted in both kneecaps, and 2 crossbow bolts in the eyes. And the detective gasps. The elephant crossbowman killer. No, it couldn't be. This must be a copycat killer. We already caught the real one. He won't be out for thousands of years. Can't wait to finish that book. Sailing up the river, Simtom is sending one of their carracks, their finest carrack. It should be able to handle anything thrown their way, thanks to the captain on board. A few towers on both sides of the river will not be a problem. Fire is nothing to fear. It's more scared of you than you are of it. And Simtom is finally stepping up and taking this seriously. Bring in the horse brigade. You gotta fight horses with horses, fire with fire. Ooh, it's getting hot now. I take it that this bandit intends to cross the waters, using Vortix's own trick against them. Royal cannons are being assembled. Kind of a conflicting army. You've got units which want to hit and run, the Royal Knights. Then you've got these slow siege units which are going to need bodies surrounding them to protect them. Now, I know knights are strong. I know knights, or these knights, can patch themselves up. But what are the chances that at this stage of the global conflict, 45 minutes in, that the knights are going to be in and out of a battle and don't leave their cannons behind to be destroyed in the process? Men-at-arms aren't as good as knights, but they are cheaper, which means overall you can field more soldiers. Great if you also couple them with some ranged units. Now, DinkyKing is back in action with an entire army of scouts. I'm not too sure how powerful a regiment of scouts is at this stage, but why not? They can go around and burn some of these outposts that have been constructed by MarineLord, who is now wondering, what's this green blob on my screen? Vortix, Matiz, Simtom, and MarineLord are quite close to each other in the middle of the land. Speaking of which, what is the name of this land? For the other 2 episodes, I suggested that you suggest the name of the map in the comments. Let me know what you think this world should be called. And if we get some good suggestions, we'll change the name of the title to match. MarineLord taking care of Puppy Paw's holdings in the center. It's like watching a renovation show. Gonna knock it through, knock those walls down, create an open space plan. Ooh, I love a good open space plan kitchen lounge. And I think MarineLord might be too fatigued to deal with DinkyKing. I don't know who is in the center of all these scouts, but what an absolute horrifying, brutal end. Death by 1,000 cuts. It was 2 villagers. They didn't deserve that. Legendary bandit Simtom is storming into Castle Vortix. It's not a very big assault. This must be the advanced scouting mission sent ahead to identify targets. And they don't see much, so why not try grabbing the town center? Vortix is obviously going to pull their army back to defend this. You see those cannons will struggle to keep up. I know someone is probably thinking about Attack on Titan, looking at all those green scouts. As long as we continue to fight, we are not defeated. If you win, you live. If you lose, you die. If you don't fight, you can't win. Vortix is taking their sweet precious time responding to this. And look, MarineLord has returned to DinkyKing. It's like the 3rd time they'll be clearing this dungeon. And what will the scouts do? They're moving over here. How many scouts does it take to kill an elephant? We're not going to find out today. Simtom is getting surrounded. The French Royal Knights basically putting them in Tupperware. Contained and sealed. This might take some time. Demonstration of why building so tight together can prove an effective strategy at dealing with mass cavalry. The scouts going ahead and burning whatever they can lay their hands on. MarineLord doesn't seem to mind. It's only scouts. Now, I can't say Simtom was too successful here, but the size of what they committed feels like it was a throw-awayable army. Will they be back in greater force? Or will Vortix push out after this slaughter? It'd be a good time to. This, in the strategical world, is what would be referred to as a counterattack, where you follow through with an attack of your own after repelling the enemy's advances. Here comes that second wave for Simtom, and it's even smaller. am rapidly losing confidence here. I might even go ahead and initiate a vote of no confidence and eject Simtom from their seat of leadership. But we'd rather have someone who can take the fall. This ain't winning. I think the best that they could hope to gain here is taking out those 3 cannons. Or is this a second scouting mission? I don't think Simtom needs to discover anymore. They know the location of the main town center, the School of Cavalry, the Royal College of Artillery, that's near the water, and obviously that leaves a landmark behind the stone wall, which in this case is the Guild House. And the Guild House, oh, it's so much stronger in these long wars compared to a standard 1v1. Any economic landmark building is so precious. MarineLord completing their 3rd run of the DinkyKing dungeon, also joined by Don Artey. And is that? No. Why is that Puppy Paw? Why is Puppy Paw here? What is Puppy Paw doing? They are antagonizing Don Artey. Do they really need this kind of heat on their back? And I gotta say, out of all our commanders here today, I think Puppy Paw needs to watch all 9 seasons of My Little Pony and learn about making friends the most. Yeah. You could probably say DinkyKing could use those lessons more. But DinkyKing is a bacteria. They don't make friends, they just spread, and I can't help but think that they will survive even this. All that MarineLord and Don Artey have accomplished here is that they'll need to wash their hands once they return back to base. Vortix is on the move. Maybe we'll get a real battle now. One fit for an iron cast. Nope, back Vortix goes. That's because Simtom has created a little stable camp. That's an interesting decision. It's handy to have. No, I don't think it's necessary to have. Either way, right on the cannons. Hitting them where the money hurts. Is that the phrase? Is that right? I do like Vortix has created these clear, distinct districts. You've got the barracks district, the archery range, and the stables, all separate from each other. Disappointed not to see a French influence keep used. Putting a keep between the stables and the archery ranges would lower the cost of those units produced. Now, Vortix knows why they've done this, and there will be a reason why it's like this, but we'll never know unless Vortix tells us. I always prefer to try and find out why players do the things they do. It's far more interesting to try and figure out what they are thinking, why they are doing what they are doing, as opposed to just criticizing. It's very easy to criticize. Oh dear, I think MarineLord is accidentally getting mixed up into this. Whatever this is, a complicated, deranged alleyway combat. Yeah, let MarineLord handle it. Vortix bails out. This is one for the smaller armies to fight over. As far as cute couples go, MarineLord and Vortix make a hell of a duo. You don't see many folk come to their allies' defense. They mostly just attack other enemies. Simtom cornered against the beach. Puppy Paw's growing some fangs, attacking MarineLord's bombards. Will they charge after that? I think not. Yeah, there we go. Never pleasant to lose those things. Ooh, Simtom using demo ships to blow a chunk of knights up. Very cunning, Simtom, you cunning fox. And Puppy Paw has a load of bombards. They will turn those elephants to mincemeat, should they roll close enough to them. Now, what is Matiz doing? We haven't seen them in quite a while. Near to them, Don Artey has a massive, absolutely massive amount of cavalry. Puppy Paw slinging fire-tipped bolts into these hulking elephants. They don't like it. The rhythmic thudding as they hit the ground sounds like a bass drum. Simtom's ordered another attack. The strategy is the same, the tactic is the same. A full frontal assault under cover by daylight for a third. Or is it a fourth time? Hell, I don't know. If we don't know, how can the enemy retreat? How did they know? Damn! I would have thought showing inferior numbers would make them second-guess themselves and immediately surrender. Vortix must be a mad badger. And Simtom is showing some nice respect to the purple villagers. They didn't want any part of this war. It's just the old leading the young and the poor and the voiceless. Guess who's back? Back again? I mean, there's two answers to that question. MarineLord is back to destroy DinkyKing, and DinkyKing is back to be destroyed. Why does DinkyKing do this to themselves? I don't think Bao Chuan is going to stop this from happening, but heck, it's something they've got at least. DinkyKing is playing an RTS campaign where you build everything in Mission 1, but then on Mission 2, you have to build everything again, but this time with the newest piece of technology that the mission's provided for you. They've rebuilt so much, they've persisted so much. I'm starting to think this is something kinky. This is the kinky corner of the realm. The Bao Chuan is getting burnt. Don't let it be burnt. Some people like to see their civilizations crumble, with villagers screaming in terror as they are cut down by the blade of the person who has designated them their enemy arbitrarily. Other people like ropes. Oh, destroy me, Lord! Destroy me! What's going on here? Don Artey, Matiz, Simtom? They're having a party outside of Puppy Paw's kingdom. That's got to be disconcerting. Why would three people not be intentionally attacking each other outside of my walls? Oh, dearie me. Now, of course, the cannons are firing, but those cannot be controlled. They have a will of their own. The walls are smashed down. Simtom brought bombards down here. Now they've opened up access to the rear of Puppy Paw's kingdom. They can attack those traders. Puppy Paw orders the response. I gotta say, this is a very small space that Puppy Paw has carved into the map and occupied. They were the opposite of ambitious. They had a little control over the middle of the map at the start of the game, but even that lacked grandeur. They're putting up a good fight. Simtom will be pushed back out of the hole that they came in. And even then, they'll fight for control of the whole. I feel like this is getting very political now. My stance is bodily autonomy, if not because it's the right thing to do, if not because it's the nice thing to do, then because autonomy sounds like cyborgs, and cyborgs are the future. We can all agree on that. These aren't the Dark Ages anymore. These are the Imperial Ages, so let's think as Imperials and question, why didn't Don Artey attack? Why didn't Matiz attack? The passiveness is very high. They knew Simtom was attacking. That would have been a time to lend a hand, a 3-on-1 with little risk, because if Don Artey or Matiz were attacked, they could easily pull back to defend. They're nearby. Although, looking at it another way, Simtom was defeated, which makes Simtom weaker. That's good for both Matiz and Don Artey? Or I'm really reading into this too much. Maybe they didn't think that at all, but the results don't change. Simtom will have been weakened by that, to a measure. Puppy Paw still has some bark left, but I doubt that they can withstand 2 or 3 more of that. MarineLord is on their eastern wall. They aren't here for Puppy Paw. Puppy Paw, I've come for DinkyKing. You shall let us in at once. No harm shall come to you if you do as we request. That's not true. MarineLord is definitely lying if they are trying to peddle that baloney. MarineLord is absolutely the type of general who would eat you from the inside out, and then still show up to the wedding caked in blood. The broken wall section was getting clogged with elephant bodies, so MarineLord retreats, as it was beginning to smell. Gotta get away from those bombards. Congratulations to Puppy Paw, who's fended off yet another attack. For them, they are playing a tower defense game. Now, if you love RTS, by the way, and have not tried it already, give They Are Billions a shot. Check it out on Steam. Oh, Puppy Paw is chasing these elephants down with heavy cavalry. Take no prisoners. You have to kill them so that they do not return to fight again. It's excellent policy in Age of Empires. There's also a new game called Age of Darkness, by the way, which is the same as They Are Billions, but I think improved. And it will also have multiplayer in the future. A multiplayer RTS co-op less stand with heroes where you fight mega hordes of undead. Seriously good stuff. Speaking of which, hopefully I've got time, just a small detour. If you're still watching, then you must really love RTS, which means one of the things that I want to do on this channel might interest you. It's really unusual things. So I'd like to take a game like Age of Darkness and have 3, maybe 4 people run it at the same time with a challenging mode on, and then just cast that. Just watch 4 people compete against each other for how long they could survive for. But we could condense it down, like not just a straight up hour and hours of video. That's not the only idea of the things that I'd like to do. If you, that's right, you would like to get involved, but it's an example. So again, if you would like some things which are more interesting and unusual, join discord.me/Ironcast. Let's do great things together and show the world. Okay, back to the game. Vortix securing a marketplace in the middle to trade with. They're using cannon towers built around there, and Matiz, more interestingly, has started to attack MarineLord. They've traveled so far and wide for that, even setting up their steps redoubt there. So Matiz must feel comfortable leaving their settlement near Don Artey's raging war machine, and their other neighbor, Puppy Paw, is probably puppy paranoid that another attack will happen against them soon, so they won't strike. Plus, Matiz does have a load of cannon towers to delay any attempts if they need to pull back. Simtom using Carracks to take out any buildings built next to the coast. There's a few things remaining. I think this Hulk has been around for a really long time. Finally destroyed. No more boats in the water for Vortix. Now Matiz is just waiting to attack whilst this goes on. Simtom can get the College of Artillery from the waters. That'll be a big help. I'm wondering if Matiz will be joined by anyone, and will MarineLord have Vortix to assist in their defense? Can they count on their support? It would be a legendary battle, one that we all deserve after sitting here for an hour. Matiz is on the move whilst that College of Artillery gets destroyed by the Carracks. MarineLord moving their elephants into position. Vortix. They're actually going on the attack against Simtom. The best defense is offense. Maybe? I think the word maybe needs to be on there. No, they're going for Don Artey? They're going for Matiz? Are they going to make up their mind? Oh, Don Artey is close by. It does look like Vortix is going after Matiz whilst their army is not at home base. Or maybe they were going for Simtom but saw Don Artey and just ran. If Don Artey keeps chasing, they won't be able to attack anyone. Not many battles are won by keeping your enemy on the run, but this one will be. Oh, there's a bit of mingling. Meanwhile, MarineLord sends out a wave of their power. And Matiz feels it. Where will Vortix run to? What's the best option? Maybe running to MarineLord? You don't want to run home unless you've got some static defenses to chip away at your pursuers. MarineLord is faring well against Matiz. There's cannons and spring elves all pointed at the elephants, but there's just so many. Another problem has arose with Simtom attacking Vortix with spearfolk. The torches raised whilst Vortix is going for another loop round. They can't go under 60 miles per hour, otherwise they will explode, just like that well-known movie, Harry Potter and the Cursed Bus. Anyway, MarineLord is winning their battle, whilst Vortix is on the back foot. Their army cannot fight, and only a small incursion is happening back at home base. Vortix entering the region of Matiz. This looks like, I think they're called Plinketto machines. Is that what they're called from the casinos? The cavalry just got sieved through the buildings, and the tower's getting rid of the bits that you don't want, so you end up with a nice, consistent viscosity. Viscosity. That's the word. You know, the levels that you would want from a human horse custard, that kind of thing. What was I saying? Something wars, battlefield. Wars are not only won on the battlefield, but through economies too. And I dare not say the Marine Force economy is bad, not at all. But I think that the accumulation of everyone challenging them, everyone that is in opposition to them, is far greater. Oh, I see what Vortix is doing now. They aren't after Matiz. They want Simtom's other landmark. It's an insane plan, a hasty one. They want to end this soon. Now, Artey is riding through their lands. Look at DinkyKing, still going. Okay, I wouldn't say strong. Strong's not the word. Undefeated? Yeah, no one's managed to off them yet. Undefeated, I think, works. Simtom's got a lot of trade ships. I suspect we'll be seeing more of those. The Carrack taking a few shots at Artey's cavalry army. I think they're heading to the heart of Vortix, just scrying for the landmarks and nothing else. Who wants to waste time burning everything to the ground? They tried that with DinkyKing, it didn't work. Simtom's repelled Vortix for now, just a trickle of heavy knights left. You can see that trickle passing by Artey. Is this not concerning, Vortix? Does this regularly happen with no consequence? But Vortix's advisors are screaming their minds out right now. But no, their glorious leader.
I know these people. They're good people. All right, we do business together. We get things done.
Oh. What? Artey once again surprising us by having an incredibly large, imposing army, but it's just for show? They found a wall. Oh, they're going in. Oh, they're not. I think they're just having a good time. Just a horse ride out. Now, here's a fun fact. Horses weren't made for riding. Cannons leading the charge for Vortix. Artey now entering MarineLord's corner. Oh, they're thirsty. They need some water. Okay, then. Let's go back to Vortix and Simtom. We'll keep an eye on that if anything happens. Now, this is a very inefficient amount of manpower to topple Simtom. I mean, look at all the cannon towers that impede their passage ahead. Oh, I think one knight's gonna try for it. They're going, they're riding. They wiped out. Good attempt. Does anyone else want to try? Oh god, it's just wave after relentless wave for Vortix. Simtom trying to patch up the hole with spearmen. A good call, I'd say. The cannon towers will take care of anyone that slips by. Got a few purple stragglers in Matiz's Mongolian camp. Puppy Paw the First is riding out en masse. Monte Montpagnier. Horse Brigade 01 running ahead to guide the massive French knight swarm behind. They're going to crash into MarineLord's keep. One of many, assuredly. Some revenge for earlier. Stepping into the sacred puppy grounds. Will MarineLord respond? Vortix still trying to run that gauntlet. I mean, it's one thing getting to the end, but what do you do when you get there? I think this is the case of slow and steady wins the race. Simtom's resources aren't going to run dry soon either, not with all those trade ships. I think Simtom can hold strong. 113 gold for each one of those making a round. There's war breaking out in many places all over Simtom's kingdom, but they are faring better with every passing minute. Meanwhile, MarineLord and Puppy Paw have at it. The Royal Knights have the advantage in power, whilst MarineLord has benefits from being on home turf. It's about time we saw the movie The Fifth Elephant. Bruce Willis leading the giant beasts behind the cavalry. Puppy Paw's gonna need a better multi-pass. Their army is mostly eradicated, although some have deviated from the main force to go attack a load of villagers. MarineLord will send a few as a rescue party, but the damage is done. Meanwhile, where Simtom lives, they've rallied enough of their force together to put up a fight that'll end in a determinate victory, finally! Back where MarineLord is, they won the battle against Puppy Paw, but Matiz has shown up with siege equipment. It just keeps getting worse, doesn't it, MarineLord? Puppy Paw rallying another large force. You know, a coordinated attack would probably knock out anyone at the moment. Well, except DinkyKing. Nothing eliminates DinkyKing. Though with 3 Delhi Sultanates left, maybe scholars are working together to research possible solutions for DinkyKing's life exceeding any normal boundaries imposed on us regular folk. There's got to be some truth to learn on how you kill such a thing. Now Vortix is being pushed outside of Simtom's broken walls. Pushed to the outside perimeter so the civilians may go out for walks and have breathing. I love the breathing. The bandit Lord Simtom is becoming a legend among the people. Finally, some respect. Vortix seem to want a quick victory. They want to go to bed early or something? Oh geez, it's over an hour and 10 minutes, which isn't worth mentioning, but it is when you consider there's still 7 kingdoms left. Only CrackedyHere has been eliminated. Now that was by DinkyKing, so technically that could just be considered natural causes. We have a wonder going up for Vortix. Yeah, they've had enough. 15-minute to be-buys. Let's go. 4 castles protecting it. Castles will lose their foundations in a jiffy, though, with the amount of cannons Matiz is bringing. Usually when you go for a wonder, you'd have more than 4 castles. You'd have a lot of stone walls, or even just some stone walls. What we have is no stone walls. Maybe if Vortix asks super nicely, MarineLord will be that wall. Speaking of which, what does MarineLord think of this? Their ally is the one that's going for victory, which means they would lose, but they've chosen their side. Have they been drawn in reluctantly as a defender? Because, you know, everyone else is going to be gunning not for Vortix, but the whole northern corner of this world. Why does DinkyKing have transport ships? There's nowhere to go. Are they cracked in the head? Beaten one too many times? I feel like I'm missing something here. Big clash as Puppy Paw makes smash against the Yellow Lord. Vortix has no idea how many soldiers are laying their life down for their Purple Kingdom. Now that's how you use transport ships. Simtom's delivering their assistance, to this Five Nations alliance. Beautiful battle lines drawn between Puppy Paw and MarineLord. The elephants are retreating. Gotta save the elephants. If MarineLord can snipe out some of the siege equipment, then they'll be in a good spot against a single opponent. What happens when DinkyKing arrives? Probably a lot of mocking. The shoe is on the other foot, and the pants on the other ass. That's right, it'll be ass-kicking time! Simtom's loading up some siege equipment onto boats, and will be bringing that across. How generous of them. But there's more than enough units here for the Five Nations to storm in and delete that wonder. But none of them can see each other in this alliance. Everyone must be thinking, really? Am I the only one that's shown up? I really am the main character of this story. DinkyKing attacking on the far right. I think they are sending a group to go look for some allies. They found Puppy Paw, who has been a long and trusting friend of DinkyKing. Though I'm sure Puppy Paw still wears a mask around them. Artey is attacking with that cavalry they had stashed away in the northern corner. It's not looking good for them, though. These castles weren't worthless after all. Huzzah! I can't even remember the last time Artey took a life. It must have been hundreds of in-game years by now. We've got Simtom advancing through the theme park known as Barracks Land. They've got their own elephant overlord, who I will presume is the general of this battle. General Rahul Dongaberry. Yeah, we need a random name generator so I don't have to. There are a few RTS games out there that do have that feature. None of them have the amount of slaughter that's going on here. MarineLord charging down the hill. Elephants going downhill. That's frightening. It'd be a crushing victory. Or a totally dope defeat. I don't know. Either way, MarineLord holds their ground. I find it strange that Puppy Paw even wants to go through MarineLord. But it must be part of their plan. Tie up the ally. Everyone else kind of focusing on Vortix. One straggler being caught out of position for MarineLord. The elephant goes down. Matiz has pitched up siege camps for fast reinforcements. This slow and systematic takedown of society approach is going to be one building at a time. Vortix does not have much territory. These are basically all the barracks that they have. Even if they had plenty of resources. Resources are totally redundant if you don't have production buildings. Not that Vortix ever uses their barracks. Simtom's up ahead, not fighting all those royal knights. It would have been nice to have a ton of spearmen, but that'd only be useful for Vortix if the barracks were behind the wonder. You need to reinforce behind your own forces, not in front. Puppy Paw and DinkyKing join hands in battle. DinkyKing flanks and cuts off any retreat. It's not only fantastic for MarineLord. This just looks so colorful. Artey is joining with a massive amount of cavalry. Oh, it's like I'm watching scoops of different flavored ice cream all melting and blending together. And it tastes of blood, death, and metal! MarineLord's army has fallen. The news will be painful to Vortix. Sire, our cowardly ally has perished. What do we do? Vortix is winning against Simtom, but the orange ocean just washes over them. Simtom's defeated. Artey and Matiz side by side, completely dwarfing the remaining French royal knights. Artey instead goes for the slam dunk, leaving Matiz to deal with Vortix. Seems rude to me. The School of Cavalry will no longer be teaching any of the new candidates the art of riding a horse with a stick. I thought Artey would just go straight for the wonder. But I guess what's the harm in taking the important buildings along the way? I mean, they're right there. Look at the trade network that DinkyKing has. They are trading gold for audio distortion. Okay, I gotta fix that. Give me time. DinkyKing will have a lot of food from the granaries, and this gold might mean that they can get a big army going, but how much does DinkyKing have to catch up? And how long do they have until anyone attacks? I will assume Simtom, Artey, or Matiz will be the ones to launch an attack after this. Only 4 castles remain for Vortix. And once they are out, I assume everyone will want to retreat. That will be the courteous thing to do. There we go. Vortix is the 6th kingdom. Their age will be a level in Dark Souls to explore. Someone may rekindle the fire, and we might see them again in 8 kingdoms. But for now, some light skirmishing from the remaining invaders, Matiz and Simtom. I don't think they mean to. Oh, will the general survive? Mr. Rahul Dongabari! Yes! You fools! You can't honestly hope to defeat the Dongaberry at your meager power level! And so, the retreat is underway. Matiz already licking up some of the remaining wood here. Good call, it's a precious resource. DinkyKing's been building up here. Oh, I bet it feels very triumphant to be building on the very lands that the evil MarineLord built on. A few relics dropped here. DinkyKing will likely grab them. Ooh. It's like some royalty here, and they've got 15 food as well. It's like a golden parachute. We'll see if anyone else has remembered or knows about these relics. Maybe Puppy Paw knows, but I don't think Puppy Paw would fight DinkyKing for them. It's 100% set in stone. Surely that Puppy Paw and DinkyKing are true friends to the end. I'm running thousands of computized simulations in my head, and none of them do they terminate their alliance. Though, as I might have suspected, Artey hasn't been too fond of DinkyKing. So let's see how DinkyKing miraculously survives this whilst we assess our current situation with the recent defeats. There's Matiz in the corner. I don't think they really had any meaningful interactions with Artey, but they have with Simtom. And I mentioned Matiz was gathering wood from the MarineLord region. Wood, it's kind of tricky. Food easy, gold, you've got gold if you can trade, but wood could only be bought, and wood is useful for all kinds of things. Archers, siege engines, traders, and if you're just so crazy enough to do it, a wonder. Artey knows where all of the landmarks are, having done this a few times before. Or do they? Do they know about the Spirit Way that's built in the north? I guess we'll find out. But anyway, Puppy Paw, DinkyKing together, Simtom, Matiz together. The unknown variable is Artey, but at the moment they've just got their mindset on DinkyKing. Everyone else just enjoying a bit of respite. Oh, it's such a shame that the Imperial Palace is placed here, because this is going to reveal the great trade network DinkyKing has established. The green money roads will be threatened. It burns so quickly. It doesn't even leave a flame. Well, I suppose it doesn't matter seeing the trade here, because Artey was just going to ride to where the marketplaces are anyway. Destroying them would be just as good as killing all the traders for the time being. You know, it's a momentary stop. Why has this wall not been repaired? Okay, I suppose the traders are using it? Come on, squeeze on through. DinkyKing has a few knights just kind of slicing away. Yeah, not gonna happen. Here goes the astronomical clock tower for the 4th time? Yeah, who's counting? I didn't expect to need to start a counter. Oh, I forgot. in order for Don Artey to eliminate DinkyKing, they have to attack Puppy Paw. And that's the direction they're going in. Oh, things just got spicier than an Abyssite Spice Road. But surely the Great Gate in Puppy Paw's base would be the last target that Don Artey wants. So does this mean that they don't know about the Spirit Way? I guess it might do. Good news for the Green Traders. They'll get to live. Oh no, very bad news for Puppy Paw. Puppy Paw has no hidden landmark stashed away somewhere safe like DinkyKing does. So does this mean DinkyKing will outlive Puppy Paw? What kind of god allows this? Now, this is typical plague-bearing behavior. You're trying to do the right thing, but your neighbor can't be asked to quarantine themselves. They knock on your door, let themselves in, and all over your coffee table without even saying, "Oh, do you mind?" Well, I think Puppy Paw does mind. In fact, are you even going to make an attempt to clean this up, DinkyKing? They do have an army where the Spirit Way is. It's a long way to travel. Puppy Paw immediately reinforcing with more castles. It's a small countermeasure, but there's no greater countermeasures really on offer. Everything's built, researched, and pop caps are basically the maximum. Don Artey seems a little confused here. Maybe they don't know about the Great Gate? I thought they did. And now they're losing cavalry just riding around thanks to cannon towers. These are Puppy Paw's cannon towers. It seems kind of a waste of time if they weren't planning on ending DinkyKing. You know, it's a pretty long way to travel as well, to take out a few landmarks and not really any important structures. I mean, landmarks are important, but, you know, if you're going to be down there anyway, why not take out everything? The marketplaces, even the farms. Like, if you're not ending it, then you just want to create a big problem as big as you can. Wow, so much trade ships for Simtom. This has got to be extremely lucrative. By the way, there is an observer mod which shows all resources and gains per minute and a ton of other things. If you would like to do some 8 Kingdoms customs, then we would use that mod. So we can get a full picture, you know, if you'd like. Again, just jump into the Discord if you want to try and arrange something like that and get more details. It only depends on the level of interest and if the games themselves are interesting to watch. So long as that criteria is fulfilled, then game on! Oh, this is nice. Don Artey just chilling in their SimCity 4, the last of the good SimCities. Everyone's kind of chilling for the time being. I guess we've got more filler. Although I could be wrong. DinkyKing is moving. There's a sacred site belonging to Simtom here. Decapping it isn't a big deal, but do you really want to antagonize Simtom? Don't you have enough enemies, DinkyKing? Is there room for more? Oh, DinkyKing had a couple of bombards near Puppy Paw. Matiz leaving one behind because they're attacking Puppy Paw, and DinkyKing is attacking Simtom with a tiny amount of cavalry. But let's tune into Matiz versus Puppy Paw, though. Firstly, Matiz has to get through that outer layer of cannon towers. They've brought the siege to do it. Too much siege, but look who it is! Don Artey showing the Mongolians how you truly raid. They're getting clogged up like a toilet, though. Has Puppy Paw found the perfect counter? Accidentally? Narrow spacers! The nemesis of Don Artey and robot vacuum cleaners. If only Puppy Paw had more firepower here. They're trading amazingly, but how much does Puppy Paw have to trade? That's the concern here. And they're not just fighting one, they're fighting two. DinkyKing likes this. At least they only have to worry about their designated opponent, Simtom, who's made a nice, lovely front gate for their Red Kingdom. Nice and welcoming. For DinkyKing, who I'm not sure is even going to be able to break through those walls. Puppy Paw is in trouble now. They held fairly okay against Artey, but Matiz is slowly destroying everything with a barrage of artillery. DinkyKing, on the other hand, doing damage where they can, economically. The trade ships are getting grenaded. Their cargo's spilling into the waters. Simtom is actually attacking the rear of Puppy Paw at the moment, so maybe they are too distracted to notice this. I don't see any red soldiers moving to guard. DinkyKing is even putting up a dockyard here. This is just being allowed to happen. Now, Simtom didn't exactly devote a lot of resources to attacking Puppy Paw, so surely they would have noticed this. It's fairly alarming. Puppy Paw is not faring well at the moment. All this because of a great green gatehouse. Is this how it ends for the Southern French? Protecting the Chinese? Oh my god, so many trade ships. Some of them are actually getting away from the grenades. Simtom. Maybe they're just oh god. There's bombards here as well. You can't ignore this, Simtom. This is pretty large. This is a big green blip on the mini-map. There we go. Now they're running. Well, driving. Well, sailing. That's the one. This is now quite a formidable force DinkyKing has put together. Grenadiers are absolutely lethal, and now they're backed up with some other units that can cover for their weakness. As long as there is a wall of units in front of those grenadiers, they will obliterate anything in their path, including a wooden wall. Oh, here we go. The Baochuan. This is a smart move for destroying Simtom. If DinkyKing stays close to the shore, they can have a powerful naval artillery blast units. But the obvious downside is that they are limited to wherever water exists, and that is quite limiting. The towers are having a good go at it, and Artey is again going for DinkyKing, or at least searching. Now that the Great Gatehouse won't be a trouble to get. But they have to find that Spirit Way, and I don't think that they know about it yet. They know the existence of many of the town centers, but you only need the main town center. We can say there is one thing for sure. Simtom is going to be absolutely fine. Okay, well, not absolutely fine. They won't be eliminated because of DinkyKing, because they have a landmark safely deposited in Matiz's base, and DinkyKing does not know about it. If DinkyKing can win against Simtom, they'll have to attack Matiz after that, which I don't think they can do. But as a guess, I would assume, from DinkyKing's point of view, that it's a red-orange alliance, not a red-teal alliance. So they may think the last landmark is hidden inside Orange's base, and there's no way for DinkyKing to know for sure. So on that premise, this sucks for them. They're going to just have to attack everyone and hope for the best. It's a little too much to ask. Artey squeezing through the green hole in the wall again. I wonder if that show is still in production. God, it feels so old now. Now, once they destroy this astronomical clock tower, they'll realize that there's one more landmark left to discover, and every moment that it's active is destruction against Simtom. So, if Artey isn't a super friend to Simtom, then, you know, no rush. Take your time. DinkyKing frolicking through the Red Kingdom, lobbing grenades and lighting bombards. The barracks still producing units, and the occasional one getting a cannon to the guts. Seems like Simtom won't be able to defend home. There is, surprisingly, a few spear folk just outside the Imperial Palace. I suppose they need to camp every single landmark to make sure DinkyKing doesn't keep rotating the reconstructions of key structures. We're going to use many battering rams, in fact. Wow. Slightly embarrassing that Artey shows up. Artey still hasn't figured out that there's a spirit way around. But I'm going to assume Artey can trust Simtom to stay there and make sure that the Imperial Palace never is built again. Now here's that spirit way. This is where the very best grenadiers are forged in explosive fire. And so many of the grenadiers have survived too. It really is like watching a toxic plague spread, encompassing everything in Simtom's kingdom that it passes. We've got to keep going down. The spearmen, confused? Hang on a minute. There was that little pause for a moment. Simtom just wanted to get a surround on the villagers, but I like to think they needed a double take. Now, Simtom is attacking a tiny bit of that tiny army, a tiny bit of a time. The other group is going to their main hole in the wall. I guess for the small trickle of reinforcements on their way. Hardly need to reinforce, though, when the main force isn't suffering losses. Even so, a few of the green folk unite with the main body. Oh, I was so taken aback by these large movements that I completely forgot to announce that Puppy Paw has been eliminated just a few minutes ago. Just when Artey was attacking DinkyKing. That's right, there were 5 kingdoms, and now there are 4. And 3 of them are settled along the west. And one of them is making a move against the other. Matiz is going to strike Artey. Artey, currently away on business. Will they pull back to defend? And if they do, how much are they going to lose? They are unfortunately on the other side of the world. It does look like they're heading back. And it's perfect timing for DinkyKing too. They were about to be raided. And Matiz, I guess, has set up a chain event that might result in DinkyKing eliminating Simtom. For anyone that's played it, that's like a combo in Puyo Puyo or Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. I like that one more for the Sega Mega Drive. Thinking about it now, though, Sega Mega Drive has got to be the coolest name for a console, at least that I can think of. Now take a look at Matiz's composition. It's comprised of spears to take on the cavalry, which there is plenty of that, and entirely that if you are Artey. Hand cannons behind them. It sounds obvious, but their ability to attack at range means that they can get the damage down immediately rather than doing this fanning out ritual that melee units do. Then we've got the bombards to take on the buildings and the spring owls for counter siege. It's quite literally the perfect assortment of troops. But against an enormous gathering of cavalry like what Artey has, I doubt the spearmen will be able to create that wall as big as they need. Although, if the fighting is taken into the streets of Artey's capital, those tight spots... Ooh. I mean, we are assuming that Matiz will be able to get the hand cannons and other units safely into the alleys and then blocked by spears, which is quite tricky to do, especially when you body block your own units. Artey has found the spirit way. This is tragic times for DinkyKing. They're training a home army to try and defend. Oh, and the wall gate is back up. The epitome of I get knocked down, but I get up again. Or is it I get knocked down again, but I get up again? You're never gonna dinky down. Artey's internal army clearly insufficient here. Poorly trained elephants ridden by buffoons. That's what I'd call it. We're watching, if you're just tuning in, we're watching 2 cities just fade out of existence with very little struggle from Simtom or Artey. It's the kind of moment in history that, as a British person, I'm going to take the time to reflect on with a nice cup of tea. Although it's in a thermal mug, so it stays warm for 4 hours. Ah, that's good tea. So much sugar! Ugh. Let's turn up the right appropriate music! It was meant to be a strange wollalol, but it came out more like a turkey. Anyway, Artey is still blasting away on DinkyKing, but this time it could be for good. They found patient zero. Now they just gotta inject the cure. But they gotta go fast. They're gonna go so fast. They're gonna be faster than DinkyKing can possibly rebuild. There's only 4 kingdoms to the left right now as the Mongols turn Artey's base upside down. When will they retaliate and change their fate before it's too late? I don't see why the person who composed Sonic music ever stopped composing Sonic music. They should have kept going on. All games should have had Sonic music. We're heightening the tension in this strange base trade race. Matiz may be eliminating Artey. Artey may be eliminating DinkyKing. Simtom just kind of singing on the side going, I'm too old for this shizzle fest. DinkyKing has been defeated by Artey. Now, there are only 3 kingdoms left. Red, orange, teal, Simtom, Artey, Matiz. What has Simtom done this game? They endured Vortix for a very long time. Ooh, we got the buildings detonated by Artey. And I thought that they would time that with a cavalry charge. I am audibly conveying my disappointment. I would like to have seen that, but they would need to have brought everything with them, not just what they recently purchased. Now Matiz charges towards that meager force, a full shroud of confidence correctly felt in their core. Artey, without a base, stuck between Simtom and Matiz. I don't see how they don't place 3rd here. Absolutely demolished. Is Matiz going to continue up to Simtom? The path is obviously clear. Just wanting to know if Matiz wants to ensure that Artey is thoroughly defeated and out of the way first before advancing. We can see towers are going down in very close proximity. Matiz ensuring a healthy, strong YAM network for the movement speed. We are engaging Simtom, while still also designating a cleanup crew. Matiz is thorough. Sometimes I wonder what this mode would be like if every time a player was eliminated, the 200 population cap was increased for everyone. So everyone would get a share of the extra population cap to go beyond 200. Go plus ultra! Is that what Artey is going to do? Because they're going to have to. No base. Only cavalry. Ooh. Oh, Simtom is converting a large amount of grenadiers from DinkyKing. They've been conscripted. Welcome to the Red Delhi Sultanate. We'll slap some paint on your clothes and point you in the right direction. It's important that none of you die because you cannot be replaced. You can only be controlled. That is your initiation ceremony. Welcome aboard. Here we go, Artey. Life of the party. Where are they going? What are you thinking? I'm assuming they're going to make a grand stand at their last remaining landmark? I mean, you could just fight them there. That'd work. Instead of fighting them on top of it's a very important building with the bombards out of that. Simtom's out here now. Ooh, could Simtom and Artey be striking a bargain? Artey may be saying, Simtom, you scratch my back, And considering the amount of resources and what I have remaining, I'll lick yours. The bombards are in range. And I think Artey is just accepting this and leaving simtom alone. Alone. That resonates. In goes simtom. They will manage to pick off a few pieces, but how much damage can the grenadiers truly do? Apparently, it's a lot, and the battering rams are in force too. I'm going to ram your socks off. Charge! Ooh, simtom is faltering. There's mostly just bombards left and a few stragglers from Matiz. Yeah, simtom wants to keep those grenadiers alive. They're like Spartans now. No, not those Spartans, the ones from Halo. Well, Artey is gone, but I'm sure they'll be watching from above in spirit. 2 kingdoms now, Matiz and simtom. And their divine delegates are negotiating on a sacred site, as is tradition. Which I assume those talks are just, you will surrender. No, you will surrender. No, you. From what we can... Fuck, I hit the microphone. I don't mean to hit... I'm sorry, microphone. I'm very sorry. We're almost getting to like 2 hours in. I am exhausted and I am losing spatial awareness of the things around me. I was going to say... I don't know anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters. Why am I doing this? Oh, God. Simtom on guard. Simtom trading still. Do they have enough resources to be able to fend off Matiz for a long time? Because thinking about it now, Matiz hasn't exactly had to do much revitalizing of their army. Simtom sending a couple of thugs to go deal with that priest. Oh, they're going to build a tower. Yes, they're not true thugs. They're not just going to go in and start stabbing away like a Neanderthal. No, they're going to build a tower. The civilized method of murdering a priest. I laughed way too menacingly at that. Oh God, what does this say about me? Yes, God is the person I must ask. And if this fire outside my house gets any closer, it won't be long until I get that chance. A wonder! A magnificent wonder! A structure that shines order in Matiz's citadel of tents, whilst Simtom City erupts in chaos once more. DinkyKing really took a hammer to that chisel and chunked out so much of what simtom had not too long ago. I thought simtom might actually expand over the water and to the north with a solid trade route at their disposal. I mean, they don't even have to continue using that water trade route. They could do trading with DinkyKing's markets, a journey going from the northern point to the eastern point. That'd make a ton of gold. There's still some building going on for simtom. That's good news, and they aren't neglecting the healing of those grenadiers. This makes me think about all the times in ordinary matches where players don't heal up their units or really care about their well-being. I'm seeing so much care in this free-for-all than anything I'd ever seen in a traditional 1v1. Grenadiers are just that important to simtom. They get precious care. They're not even going to be sent into this battle. What a senseless waste of life. The bombards are only just setting up. The outcome wouldn't have changed either way. The Reds will lay in the ground, and Matiz will advance. Simtom retreats to a mass of barracks against the coast. A few cannon towers there to give Matiz slight troubles. Oh, and we appear to have forgotten something. Way down south, there's Simtom's encampment that was set up to raid Puppy Paw from earlier. Matiz is also dealing with that, and they're going to get extra gold and stone, which is going to suck for Simtom, because all that stone means double production units. Simtoms rallied the largest gathering I've seen from them in a while. This time, the Grenadiers will be involved, albeit they are standing very far back, picking up the tiny bits of lancers that have slipped by, and they are in bits now. The wave of cavalry hitting the siege engines. This could be a major victory for Simtom. That is an expensive loss to take. Now, something Simtom might just struggle with after this is how many cannon towers have been put in their path and on the land that was once Simtom's. There's another one going up here. That'll be 5. Sure, they can kill them with cavalry and grenadiers, but that would buy Matiz so much time. That'd just be these towers doing a very good job. Matiz, no doubt, has quick ways to replenish their stock of grunts, and they also probably want to deal with any of those rear red buildings next to them, just so there's no surprise attacks. Operating on levels of extreme caution. Okay, well, it's not extreme, I don't think it is. It's just regular caution. A good level of vigilance. A lack of prudence like this, I've seen wipe out entire players. Yeah, a whole entire player gone, just like that. No warning. Disconnected to the nether realm. Oh no, the Grenadiers. They don't have sword-fighting arms. They have grenade-throwing arms. They shouldn't be there. Matiz on the last of the remaining barracks down here. It's a demolition mining operation. These soldiers training on buildings. And once you're capable of destroying buildings, destroying another person will be easy. It's the last of the barracks. Where are they heading to next? I mean, there's some stuff around the sacred site in the south. I mean, that's where they're heading to. Bit of an overreaction, if you ask me. There is another army that's dallying around destroying towers, just like Simtom is doing. There's a big teal blob heading this way. Is Simtom prepared? It is incredible what Matiz is hastily able to put together. Simtom's army just to the left. Oh, Lord. They have a stone wall here, and the Grenadiers are not on it, with that priest. Though, since it's not a closed wall section, the Grenadiers could end up sandwiched between spears, but that wouldn't be a bad matchup. In goes Matiz, the cavalry gunning for the Grenadiers. They're running. Can they get on that wall? That'd be spared from the cavalry. The spears give chase. Simtom destroys a bit of wall section so he can get up there, leaving everyone else totally surrounded. Don't think the Grenadiers would get there in time to save them. A lot of Grenadiers have fallen as well. Look at that range increase. Matiz will take a breath of fresh, non-gunpowdered air. I don't think there's any rush for Matiz. Simtom's come out fighting and has been found lacking. They have been expanding into the middle very slowly. Berries. Might be past their sell-by date, but, you know, waste not, want not. Matiz will attack with static structures. Good way to bypass that population cap. Why is the roof floating? It's completely severed its connection with reality and gravity. There's some wallalos going on. Oh, Simtom's found a group of grenadiers that were attacking the trade ships earlier. If Simtom can keep recruiting or doing recruitment drives just like that, then who needs resources? You can just live entirely off of the map, recruiting everyone else's unwanted troops, bring them out of retirement and back into the warm embrace of cold dead bodies. Oh, I do hope these grenadiers will be in range to attack in this next skirmish. The new grenadiers, though, are at the bottom of the wall. I think they're trying to lure them in. It's gonna suck for them to hold the line. The elephants would be radical if there were more of them. Elephants and grenadiers sounds like the ultimate combination. And there are more elephants on their way. It was perhaps not a great time for Simtom to lure them in. Maybe this was not their intention because those elephants were 30 seconds away from being in a legendary position to save so many grenadiers. Wow, the cavalry is slow, stuck behind those elephants. They needed to get in there quickly. They did manage to kill quite a lot of what Matiz had. There was just some gusto in there. The bombards focus firing elephants as the heavy cavalry burns them down with the torches. But whilst they do that, the hand cannons are picking them off. It's a significant blow to Matiz, but it's utter annihilation for Simtom, because look at this regenerative army. You may strike me down, but I will come back with approximately equal levels of power. And that should make you feel as nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Simtom refuses to flounder, though. They've got the next line of defense in place. Matiz isn't attacked with a full force, but its spears should plug this gap for the hand cannons. They might get a better trade from this because the next teal wave is arriving behind them. Simtom disengages. A few elephants get brought into the mix. Look at this! This is strong! Only a single bombard. Ringing the bell. Knocking on the door. Calling the elephants. It's Simtom's turn to use that choke point. Choke points typically favoring any army lesser in numbers, but that's seconded by favoring anyone with more ranged units. Matiz is the one with more ranged units, and as such, this hurts a heck of a lot for Simtom. It's a trend. Perhaps if they keep taking beatings like this, they will simply become immune. Another army totally defeated. The elephants, hardy, but they're not going to be quick enough to get back to safety and regroup with another militia. And the very expensive bombards are also going down as well. Matiz has entered the barracks district. This is a very concerning turn. Holding them at the walls. That was nice. But now we're entering a second incomplete wall. Simtom! They just can't seem to want to get rid of those lumber yards. They mean a lot. They have a lot of incredible sentimental value. They've been there since the start of the game. Lobbing rocks over the wall, which is barely a wall, since you can just go round. And Matiz is knocking out all of these barracks, knowing it will severely hinder the recruitment of any more defenders. Wood ain't cheap anymore. Replacing these buildings would be a costly endeavor. Simtom instead making mangonels by the mass. Does Matiz know they can go around the wall? Has their vision just assumed the wall continues on? I think they were on that wall just reducing the damage from incoming fire. Might have been a misclick. Spears coming out, and they are going to finalize that stone wall over the remains of the lumber yards. Sacrifices, real sacrifices, have been made. Matiz seems deterred almost. I think their imagination might be going wild. Maybe Simtom has built in so many other places. Where's all their stuff? I guess I'm right. This moderate-sized scouting party wants to find some real useful intelligence so that they may achieve a stride as good as the last attack. An assault is good, but an assault on a more critical location is better. Yes, there's something definitely well hidden back here. Don't weave your armies around aimlessly. Though sometimes it's more effective than not wielding it at all, but a concise strike can speed up that victory. Then we can go ahead and get the ceremony over with, where the crown shall bestoweth upon ye youngling. Whilst Matiz pokes about and reforms the next assault regiment, Simtom just building randomly and slowly around places. Even poaching off of farms! Oh, it's like I've stumbled across Simtom eating out of a bin. I don't know, there's nothing wrong with using someone else's farms, but it just feels unhygienic, dirty. It's wrong, and yet so right. You do what you have to do, and Simtom needs food for resupplying their army. Gonna have to be quick, though. Matiz is coming for that last landmark. Is it the last? Yes it is. There's several outposts guarding it, but a few bombards will sort that out. Looking at Simtom, they are pretty tapped out. Now, something unexpected might happen, but just in case it does not, allow me to say what a pleasure it has been to do a 2-hour cast, but I am exhausted. If you too are exhausted, then perhaps we can wind down in the Ironcast Discord. You can see that in the video description or down below if it's on Twitch. If you're not exhausted, then... Why? Why not? There's plenty more content to watch on the YouTube channel. Content is slowly made, though. I do have big work project commitments to do, and I'm also studying 3D modeling and sculpting because one day I'd like to make my own game and animations. But for now, let's do Age of Empires 4 whilst it's hot. Oh, it's so hot right now. No, Simtom, you're not gonna get that wonder. It's a wonder of the Great Khan themselves, which is Matiz. Matiz is obviously the Great Khan. The greatest! Or at least the biggest. Sounds like a show, like America's Next Top Model. Hate those shows, you know, X Factor, Dancing with the Stars, or the British version. Mongolia's Next Great Khan. I'm not sure if I'd watch that either. But definitely more appealing than those shows. Matiz taking that time, doing the job right. Oh, Simtoms rummaged through their belongings and found that white flag. There were 4 Delhi Sultanates, but it is the single lone wolf Mongols that are the victors, led under the great leadership of Matiz. Congratulations, this will be such a long video. It doesn't need a flashy outro. All I will say is my name is Anuki. Go get yourself some food and drink. Look after yourself, okay? Yeah. Good night.